Hey, what's up? Pixelflux here, and today we've got a new patch for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, specifically patch version 1.20, which introduces quite a lot of new stuff, some options in the menu, a new Gwent book as seen in my previous Gwent book location video, and it obviously includes the new completely reworked user interface system. So let's have a look at that first and foremost. When you download the patch and go into Witcher, and when you go into your inventory screen, you're gonna see something like this, which I think is brilliant, and I'll tell you exactly why. First off, on the left hand side of the screen we've got 5 new tabs which have columns and they're split. The first tab is dedicated to crafting and alchemy ingredients, so basically it shows all the collected garbage in there and out of the way so you don't have to think about it. The next tab is your quest items and other items, or previously junk items. This is where you'll see all your good stuff that you need for quest completions, and all the stuff that just kind of stays there and you can't sell it anyway, and obviously all your crap that you can sell. The third tab is dedicated to food and drink and roaches items, so the food and drink is now separated there in that column. Now the roach item tab here is empty for me, but it houses the trophies, saddlebags, blinders, saddles, all that good stuff. So it's just that I don't carry any spares, but you'll probably see something in there, especially if you're in the middle of the game. The fourth tab is dedicated to oils, potions and bombs, and in my opinion this is a perfect rework of what used to be the previous system. Previously you had that there gear image tab whatever, and it was basically a mishmash of all your oils and potions and bombs and food and just basically everything, and I used to absolutely hate it, and I used to have every time I needed to apply a new oil to my blade I just had to like scroll down and find the oil, and it's just a mess. So it's a really good job that CDPR did with this particular tab in my opinion, because it just makes really easy finding exactly what you need. So I've got oil separated, so I can literally just go, I need the insectoid oil, there you go, I can go fight some Barracas or Andregas or whatever. Bombs are here, potions here, beautiful. And last but not least, we've got the armor and weapons tabs. So the weapons tab is going to house all your weapons and upgrades for said weapons, and the armor tab is going to house the likewise. So that's pretty much it. So some of the new stuff in the main UI here in the inventory is obviously how the right hand side looks. Now if I unequip something here, and you probably may have run into a little problem previously where you probably found something which is really cool looking, or maybe a new set of armor which you've never seen before, but you cannot equip it and you can't see what it looks like. So what they've done with this patch here is that if you select a piece of armor and press X, it's gonna kind of equip it in a preview mode. So even if you cannot actually equip the piece of armor or weapon, you can still view what it will look like on your character. So that's a nice addition in my opinion. And obviously you can do that with the whole set, so say you're not limited to just one piece of armor. So but you do have to click on each one and press X. So that's pretty good. Secondly, we have got the description size toggles. So if you click the middle mouse button, you can change the size of these descriptions. So say for example, if you're on a massive screen, you may want these smaller like I do, or if your screen's further away, you may want these to be bigger. So you can read them, or say if you're playing on a TV, maybe on a couch, you probably will appreciate this option. Then we've got the reworked character screen. So if I press C, get this nice little slidey animation, girl slides into the middle, and I've got all these tabs here which are separating all the information about my damage per second, my resistances, sign intensities and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. So you don't necessarily have that on-glance display of your damages and armor, stuff like that, but it's still easily accessible and it's still there. So you can view your chances to poison or stun or whatever. So that still works pretty well. You still can't rotate girls, which I find a little bit of a bummer. I always like game UIs where you can rotate your character and just kind of look around. You know, that's pretty good. So anyway, so that's that. I think it's pretty much it for that part. So if we go to the world map now, they've got some big updates in there. They've made all the text there a little bit bigger, which I wasn't too big of a fan, but you know, whatever. Doesn't necessarily piss me off, if that makes sense. The biggest addition for me was this here thing, which I find useful. It may be just a placebo. It was probably still there, but you know, it's really useful because you know exactly where you are and how big the map is. So you know, just giving it a shout out. Another thing that I've included is filters for your map. So you know, if your map looks like this, which is a big clutter, and you can't even read this is hierarch square, where is it? You can just click on these arrows here and they give you separate toggles for you know, or filters for different markers on the map. So the general is going to give you all the chests and stashes and notice boards and the markers, the quick travel markers. And the exploration one's going to give you all the locations, but it's not going to give you things like shops and houses and whatnot. Merchants and craftsmen, obviously going to give you all the merchants and craftsmen, obviously. Buffs is going to give you all the places of power and where you can improve your equipment on grinding stones and crafting tables. And then we've got the all again. So that's pretty much that. So tab gives you the current position, easy as. Now my biggest favorite is the new marker system. So just like before, I can right click and give this, you know, location a new marker, or I can just, you know, right click on itself and it removes it. But now if I hold the right click, it lets me select a different icon. So you probably have been in a situation where you're probably level 20 or something and you're running around some forest and you see a big lesson with a skull symbol on it. Obviously you can't take it on, it's too powerful, it's gonna kill you. Or maybe you've stolen some guarded treasure, but you've never actually killed the monster. You just kind of like ran through it really quickly, picked up whatever's in the stash and ran away without killing the monster. So with this patch you can finally mark where those monsters are. For example, you know, you just gotta right click, select the little skull icon, and you can select up to 10 different markers, which I think is absolutely brilliant, whereas you're still limited to one custom default marker. And it doesn't limit you to just one of those. You can select the information ones or those custom location ones. So really useful, and it's definitely going to be, you know, a very welcome addition in my New Game Plus playthrough, because I will definitely run into those problems. So I think that's pretty much it for the world map. Then we've got the quest log, which is exactly the same as usual, just a little bit different looking. That's about it for that. The character screen, that changed quite a bit. Not drastically if you think about it. You still have all your mutagens and you still have the skills here. I think it just became a little bit bigger. It may be the case of maybe that's a console thing. Maybe they just wanted to make it look bigger for people who are playing on TVs further away, or maybe they just didn't want to waste all that screen real estate. I don't know. It is much bigger, it's bolder, it's in your face, but that's about the only difference. Apart from it maybe being a little bit more colorful and having some newer icons here and there, but it works exactly the same as usual. You've still got your mutagens and all your skills and whatnot, so that's pretty much that. Actually, a useful addition is this thing, which tells you how many more points you need to unlock. Actually, how many points you need to unlock this row here. So you know that's locked there, and that's locked there. So pretty useful. The meditation log, I think it changed slightly. It tells you the exact same information as before, but I think now it colors those little bars, whereas before they were just little icons. So that's a little welcome addition. I suppose it shows you kind of the time, if it makes sense. The beast area didn't really change. It's exactly the same as usual. Obviously just reworked a little bit graphically to match the UI. tutorial section, exactly the same as before. Characters, exactly the same as before, obviously. The book section, I think that's a new addition, if I am not mistaken. Now correct me if I'm wrong, you can always leave a comment down below, but if it's a new addition, and I've never noticed it before, maybe it was just my thing, if it's a new addition, then I really do welcome it, because I used to keep all these, you know, unique letters or trails of the grasses or this or that, you know, just interesting books in my inventory, taking up space and cluttering my, you know, UI or whatnot, just because they were interesting. But now we've got all these books and all the letters and everything, they're all there for you. So, you know, once you've read something, it's there, you can come back and reference it. So, you know, so you've got the maps and the journals and stuff like that. So you don't need to keep your books and letters there anymore. So even the miraculous guide to Gwent, I could probably just throw it away right now. Crafting is kind of the same as it was before, really. Didn't change much except for, you know, being a little bit more colorful. It shows you what you don't have, what you have, you know. It shows you the rarity of the items now in that color. It's a little bit more obvious, but technically did not really change from before. The Alchemy screen, again, same as before, but I think now by default they've put on a filter, filtering out the already crafted materials, which used to, you know, take up a lot of space there, and you would be looking for your potion or whatever. It's like, oh, I found this new mutagen. It's like, oh, where's my next potion? Where is it? Come on, and you're twiddling that middle mouse button, and you're like, oh, there it is. I'm still missing that. So, you know, just add a filter. That's it, done. So, you know, that limits you to what you can still craft. And I think that's pretty much it, I think. You know, overall, I think it's a nice rework of the UI. Really useful. Makes certain things faster, like applying blades to your applying potion oils to your blades, and switching potions. So that's pretty good. Now on to other things. So if I press tab here, I've got a whole new selection wheel for my signs and items. So my bombs are here on the bottom right, and if I, you know, use the middle mouse wheel, I can select, you know, swap between bombs, and I can swap between these items here. So, you know, it's, I think it's probably more console friendly at this point, whereas before you had a little bit more finesse of the items that you could select. So I'm pretty sure this is not a particularly PC oriented enhancement or change, if that makes sense. At least that's what it feels like to me, but it's still pretty useful, I guess. It's still, you know, it's not bad by any means. So we've got that. And otherwise, the UI itself didn't change, as you can see. I've still got my blades and everything. I think one minor change there at the top left, if you can see, I've got a blade oil applied, and it gives you a little rotary bar with a number, so it shows you exactly how many strikes you've got left for that oil in a visual manner. So that's a small change, but the minimap didn't change, and you know, the rest is pretty much the same. Then we've got some new options in the menu. So if I go to the options and go to gameplay, obviously the UI is reworked now, like I said, graphically, but it's still got exactly the same functionality. A couple of new options in the gameplay menu. We've got the automatic or manual sword sheathing, so we've got that. We've got the toggle for the Witcher Senses fisheye effect, so I'll show you what that looks like. So you see it kind of distorts the view when I'm in the Witcher Senses, right? So if I go to the options there and the gameplay, I'm gonna turn that off, and if I go to my Witcher Senses, it does not distort the view anymore. It doesn't really apply that weird filter on it. Literally nothing changes, but I'm just seeing these glowing objects. I think it's gonna be a little less distracting to some people, so you might want to turn that option on. I'm just gonna leave mine completely off, because I do prefer that mystical, dreamy look. So I'm gonna turn that off. Movement responsive before, automatic camera centering, I've got that off. Not sure if that's a new option, but don't remember it, so maybe new. Enemy upscaling is a new one, so basically if you are at, say, level 44 and you haven't started New Game Plus and you're waiting for the, you know, Blood and Wine or what have you, you've done everything like I did, and you know, the monsters are pretty weak. And even if you're in the middle of the game and you're, you know, making some progress towards trying to complete all the little quests and exploring everything, you know, you've got this problem of these evil monsters which are really powerful and they can kill the entire village and everyone fears them, and you just come there and there's some, you know, level 8 foglets in there, or level 7, I don't know, drowners or something, and you know, they can keep hitting you all day long with your new armor and whatever, and they're just not gonna pose a challenge, and in most cases you're just gonna one hit kill them. Ridiculous, right? So this new level up scaling option, which is really welcome in my books, is gonna level up the monsters more in line with you. So it's gonna give you more of a fighting challenge, especially at higher difficulties, and it's just gonna make the game kind of make more sense, if that makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, it's a welcome addition. However, it does not increase the rewards you get from quests, so the quests are still gonna remain, say, level 7 or whatever. It's just the monsters that are gonna be more powerful, and you're not gonna get any better loot. At least that's according to CD Projekt Red. So back in the menu we go, see what else is on there. Gameplay options. Gwent difficulty, enemy upscaling. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Let's see if there was any new video option there. I don't think there was anything new in there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. HUD configuration. I'm not sure about these, to be honest, because I never really changed them much after, you know, just setting it up for the first time, and that's it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, but again, if I'm wrong, you can always, you know, leave a comment down below and say, hey, you missed that option and it does this and this and that, so, you know, feel free to do so. Otherwise, Gwent decks have changed slightly. So where you used to have neutral cards like Torrential Rain, like, you know, weather cards, or the Scorch card, or say some like Zoltan or these vampires, they're no longer neutral cards, if that makes sense. They're still neutral cards, you can still have them on several decks at the same time, but the cards for some reason now have faction ribbons. So, you know, if I go to Squirtel, I've got the weather cards exhibiting the green ribbon there, and, you know, the monster deck's red and the Nilfgaard's black. So that's a bit of a change, but it came out before 1.2.0. So just in case you didn't notice, that's something fairly new, which I wasn't a big fan of. And another thing that changed slightly in terms of Gwent was we've got the Scorch logo, which is a skull, and you used to have the same logo on that dude, which would kill the close combat units. It's got the bull's horns now, so that probably indicates that he's only close combat Scorch, if that makes sense. Otherwise, I didn't really discover anything particularly new in terms of Gwent. It's pretty much not the same as it was before. So I think that's pretty much it. Overall, I do like the patch, and I think it even introduced some new graphical stuff as well. I mean, it may be just a placebo, but the water looks a little nicer, and just overall, I don't know, maybe it's just my new monitor, who knows. Yeah, like I said, overall I really do enjoy the patch. It's really useful in terms of UI changes, and, you know, it's a welcome addition, and it's a great paving stone for the Blood and Wine patch, DLC, sorry. which is coming out tomorrow. Anyway, hopefully you found this video useful and informative. If you did, give us a thumbs up and a like, and maybe consider subscribing for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.